Albert Awol, the voice of the jungle, broadcasting on the DVC to all points unknown. If you're within the sound of my voice, you're listening to Welcome Home Podcast on the DVC.
Hello and welcome home. This episode of Welcome Home is brought to you by DVC Rental Store. Thank you for joining us on episode 355 of Welcome Home, a Disney Parks and Vacation Club podcast. I'm Tom. I'm here with Trevor. How's it going, Trevor?
Hey, pretty good, and still laughing because
you're not allowed to go because you're breaking the rules here.
No. I feel we can sometimes just continue the
laughing from the previous thing.
Yeah. We were talking before the show, and it kind of ended on a bit of a funny note, and
this happens a lot with us, okay? And
it does.
Because what happens is we'll talk before the show. Like Trevor and I are both very busy, right? So like during the week, we don't really get a chance to talk, right? Like because you're busy with work and life, I'm busy with work and life. We just don't.
We do, but it's mostly just over Messenger, so it's not like talking like we are. Yeah.
So a lot of times we get on, do the show and then we talk for a little while. But also what happens sometimes is we end up talking about things that we're going to talk about in the show. And then we have to stop ourselves and be like, stop talking about that because we can save it for the show, right? And that's what happened right before we started.
And the problem is I already had a bunch of ideas in my head and I'm like, whoa, wait, I have to shelve that now.
Quiet.
But it's, So we will get back there.
Yes, we will.
But yeah.
It's a very weird topic for me to put on the rundown, but at the same time, Trevor, I think you understand why.
and I do, and I will say I did not have it on my card that I was going to be talking about this today.
Okay,
and that makes me excited because.
All right, good.
And by the way, this is not like heavy Disney news or anything.
No.
It's a weird thing that it's like I love when something comes up where it's like, hey, I haven't thought about this in a minute, but it's still something that lives in my head, and I like. Yeah. And I want to talk about it, but it's like the opportunity to talk about it doesn't come up. But this is it's like a gift. It's like, hey, here's your chance to talk about something that, like, I could bring this up as a random conversation, and I know, like, I'm like, or this will make sense later, but if I brought this up to people, I would get the weirdest looks.
You would. I feel like it's okay on this show to talk about this particular thing, even though I'm not gonna lie, I didn't even know that this thing was Disney related in any way.
Neither did I. Yeah, that's part. But let's stop there.
Okay,
we're doing it again.
All right, we're doing it again.
Let's actually get into the show, and then you can hear what we're talking about later.
Later. It's at the end of the show. One other thing though, Trevor, I have to mention. So today was my dining reservation day. For my trip coming up here. So I did my dining I kind of forgot because as I said, I've been busy, and I just hadn't really thought about it at all. And I really was like resisting coming up with like what the plan was going to be, I was feeling indecisive about like what days we were going to do where and, and all that. Okay. Right. And so, here's the thing though, we're going to get park hoppers. So it really, at the end of the day, doesn't matter what park we're in. Like we can just go to another park for dinner. You
can make reservations. It's just, you have to commit to, leaving your whatever park you're in to make sure you hit your reservation on time. So there's a little bit of planning there, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah. So I'm just, we kind of just scheduled stuff, and a couple of things we did were resort restaurants, not, park restaurants. Right. So in fact, I'm trying to think, did I even do any park restaurants? I don't think, I think the only one I did was, the place that you go to all the time that I can never remember the name. Oh my gosh. Garden Grill. Yes. Garden Grill. That was the only one. Well, the ironic thing about this, right, is, we were joking about the DVC discount being the reason that I'm going. Mm-hmm. They only do the discount Monday through Thursday, and I'm only going to be there for those days on Wednesday and Thursday, the first day that we're there, and then the second day that we're there. So it's not even like I can really like utilize it all that much. The only one I'm going to utilize it for is Garden Grill. So
I mean, you could, but that would require bringing Ziploc bags to.
Yeah.
Take your food to go and eat it later.
Put a bunch of Ziploc, just bring some freezer bags with me.
Don't be that person. Don't Ziploc bag. I'm saying that to like the listeners. Like don't
people in general.
don't like, if you're going for a sit down, you don't need to bring a Ziploc just because it's all you care to enjoy. Like,
Yeah.
I know I joke about it, but I'm sure somebody has done it. And
Well,
I don't know.
So here's what I'm doing for those that are interested. And I got to remember, even though I just did this hours ago. We're gonna do Whispering Canyon.
Yeah.
So, which is always
I figured you would. Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, listen, we're staying at Bay Lake, so a lot of this is
it's close enough. Yeah.
The vicinity. It's a lot of the vicinity of Magic Kingdom. So, so we're doing Whispering Canyon for dinner one night. We're doing we're going to do California Grill. That was a request. I'm like, okay, we want to take my daughter to California Grill. Do we really want to do that?
Interesting.
Yeah, but my wife wanted to go, and I was like, okay, we can do California Grill. I like California Grill. It's an amazing view. I think she'll get a kick out of the view. We don't have like a fireworks time like reservation, but whatever. She'll still enjoy the view, and it's right in our hotel, so that makes it a little easier too.
Yeah.
So we got that. We're doing Crystal Palace for breakfast, which is a one that we've done many times, and really love Crystal Palace for breakfast. First of all, food's usually pretty good for breakfast there, and it's much cheaper than doing dinner. So yeah.
And it's Crystal Palace, like
I love Crystal Palace,
like the vibes are nice in Crystal Palace.
Crystal Palace, we've done so many times, and we will probably keep doing it forever because it just, like you said, the vibes of it are off the charts. So
yeah, I mean, if we weren't going to Garden Grill, it would be Crystal Palace. Like it's, I feel they're in the same category for food's good. Vibes are good, right? Like that's all.
I think Crystal Palace is probably our favorite character dining. I would say
it was when my son was younger. It was ours too, but it eventually evolved into Garden Grill because
it's a close second.
Again, just for slightly different reasons. So, but I get it. Like, yeah, totally on board with Crystal Palace. What else do you got?
What else do I got? We're doing Ohana. We're going to do Ohana.
Okay. Oh, nice.
Love good. Ohana.
Are you doing breakfast or dinner at Ohana?
We're going to do dinner at Ohana.
Okay.
I've never done we've done Ohana a million times, and I've never done breakfast there. And, now that you're saying that, maybe I will do breakfast there because they still do character breakfast there, right?
They do, yes. And there is a couple of unique food. Actually, sorry, when I went, there was unique stuff. I'm sure they still do it, but the menu is slightly different from like Crystal Palace and all those places. Like there's a few Hawaiian specific flair. Things. And I believe you also get... Again, I'm dating myself by saying these things. I could be wrong. I should actually go look it up. But I remember you could get pog juice for breakfast. So there's that.
I think everybody knows my favorite breakfast buffet is Boma over at Animal Kingdom Lodge, which they do serve pog juice there in the morning. So, that's all I have scheduled for now. That's a good call though. My daughter is Stitch obsessed, right? And so it's. Man, I don't know. That's a tough reservation though. I will tell you, there was plenty of reservation slots open. I was, usually you're fighting over some of the reservations, but there was a lot available.
I wonder if
good.
Sorry, I was just gonna say, I wonder if because they're doing the promo for the DVC stuff. I'm sure, we know that fall is generally a busier time, especially for DVC owners. Yeah, but I wonder if there's also just been over the summer. It's been getting hotter over the summers, and I'm sure that it's not as busy.
In July.
Yeah, it's not as busy as people think, I guess. And also, I would say this too is like for summer, there's a lot of people that go that aren't necessarily doing sit downs. Because summer trips for a lot of people are like, it could be that once in a lifetime trip or, it's just, people saving up with their kids. And so, like I say, like what my family used to do, we'd go like once every 5 years and, it was a big trip that we saved up for. And so like, we weren't doing like, my parents didn't have money for, sit downs and stuff like that, which is, is fair. Like, not everybody's in that situation.
It's expensive.
So I feel like sit downs probably are not as busy as they are other times of the year. Like because it's just a different dynamic of people that are coming in. Right. So
yeah. I agree. I don't know. Listen, we'll see what happens. This is just kind of what we decided to, do for now, but this could change. I would love to do well, and one of these days we're going to Animal Kingdom. We booked nothing for Animal Kingdom, mostly because we're just going to probably just do barbecue. But we'll see what happens. I don't know. We're going to play by ear. We've been really kind of loose with our Disney vacations lately. Like, we used to be so much more structured of like, we're going to this park on this day, and then we're having dinner here, and then we're eating here, and then it was like a whole thing. And now it's just like I don't have the time or energy to do that, and so it's just like we just kind of figure it out.
It's nice to just go with the flow.
Yeah,
to be honest, like I'll say this, like I still plan, or when I think about how I started off planning Disney trips and how I do it now, like I still use like the same basic template where I, at the very least, like commit to like, we're going to these parks these days, or like there's like key points. It's like, I want to hit Guardians. I want to hit, Garden Grill. Like, as a family, it's like, I kind of just put the questions out, like, what are like the top 5 things you want to do? And it's like, A, B, C, D. And then, so then that's the plan. But then it's like everything else in between is like, we'll see where we end up, kind of thing, right?
Yeah,
Which
exactly.
I feel that's that is one of the advantages, obviously, of doing DVC and all that, is we are obviously getting to that point where it's like Disney is a stressful planning thing, but it's only as stressful, I guess, as you make it. But I also understand, like, for people that are spending all the money and everything, that it's hard to put a bunch of money towards something and be like, I'll show up and find out. But I know people that have done that too. Like I've had coworkers that are like, yeah, I'm going to Disney in 2 weeks. What should I be doing? And it's like, you're
months late on this.
You haven't thought about this. Like,
I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah. But I mean, that's good though. It's good that you've got it. You have some key points to hit, but then outside of that it's whatever happens, right? But you also said too, this is going to be a trip of, your daughter kind of discovering some of the bigger rides and stuff too. So I mean, it's good to give some space for that, right? Where it's not like you don't want to be like, like drill sergeant, like go, we're going to the next ride, and your daughter's having a meltdown because it was just a little too much, right? Like.
Well, I also too, just I think the big, when I really think about it, like why that change from going, to really planning a lot to now just kind of going with the flow. Part of it's DVC, but also just part of it is the way you do Disney changed, right? Like we used to have to, plan. You used to have to do your fast passes 60 days out when you were staying on property, right? And so that kind of forced you to decide what parks you were going to be in. Now that you don't have to do that anymore, it's like you can kind of just be more loose about it, right? I mean,
yeah, that's true. And I mean, even like the like things like you can do lightning lanes like 7 days out, I think.
Yeah.
Which even that sometimes is like I remember I think back to like my trip last year with my brother, that I was talking to him beforehand, and it was kind of that like talking about me as the planner and him as like. He didn't know what he was getting into, but he was trusting me to just kind of, know what we were doing. And, and I was coming to him being like, hey, I'm booking lightning lanes. Are you good with me doing this? And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. But so like from his point of view, he was like, he was expecting to just show up and roll with it. And I was like, still in the back of my head, like that same fast pass kind of mentality where it was like, I want to make sure I get a good time on Guardians and all these things. So I was like I still do that to it is still there, but to your point, it's not like it was. Like I'm actually glad that I didn't have to like go to my brother 2 months beforehand and be like, so what ride do you want to ride on the 15th? Like like that's you're right. It is very different now, and I do appreciate that Disney is doing that, because
makes life a little easier.
I think they realized that it was actually detracting from people enjoying the parks. Because you can't.
Although some people really liked that kind of.
I mean,
my mom would like that kind of stuff. But
it's a meta game in and of itself. Like the planning part was as much fun as, and I mean, it still is. Like even like you booking restaurants and stuff. That is fun, but I think the dangerous edge of that is that when too many things fall into that, where it's like you have to like feel like you're planning down to the minute, that's where it takes the fun out of the trip as a whole. Like, because like, the planning beforehand is fine, but also accepting that, plans are going to change. But when it's like you spend a bunch of effort on trying to line everything up and then like one thing happens and it blows the whole thing out of the water, like it feels like you've lost an investment, which I know that like that probably sounds crazy, but but like it's your time and your energy that you're giving up, right? So
yeah.
But either way, glad you got Garden Grill. I know I will say, it's always Garden Grill is always top of the list for me. I do want to hear about California Grill for sure, because I'll be honest, it's one that like I've been aware of, but I've not looked closely at.
Yeah,
and I feel like
nice.
Yeah, I feel like, like all the Disney restaurants that are in the resorts, it's like, we all like gravitate towards our favorites, but it's like none of them are bad. And I feel like if I actually like maybe went outside of my bubble a little bit more, I would, go somewhere like Garden Grill. And actually to that point, like, even you took us to Liberty Tree last year, and I said like, I'd never been there before, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is like really good."
It's so good. I actually suggested it again. I was like, she's like, I thought she was gonna like be like, we just went there, but then she was like, okay, let me see, let me think about it. I was like, and then we ended up not doing it, but I was like, I love Liberty Tree. Yeah, Thanksgiving dinner, man. You can't go wrong with Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah, but I would have never like.
You would never done. Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
So here, okay, I'll just explain the thought process. Just maybe it's only me that thinks this way, but I'll just put it out there. Is that I will fully admit I'm very like first impressions are like a big thing for me when it comes to the restaurants. Where it's like if I look at the outside of the restaurant, like I looked at Liberty Tree, and it was like, oh, this looks like a colonial tavern kind of thing, right? That's not my vibe.
Like what you want. Yeah, I
like it's just, and it's not that it's bad. It's just I look at it and go like, that doesn't look like somewhere I would enjoy eating.
Yeah,
but because that first impression is like, and similarly, like California Grill is like, it looks like a restaurant, but I don't look past that. And I mean, to be fair, we all do that. Like it's, first impressions are a big thing. But I know there's a lot of places that I walk by because just that initial impression is like, that like, I like the, obviously the reason, we went with Polly is, the Polynesian themes are like, oh, I like that Hawaiian theme. I like, something, different and unique and all that. Liberty Tree didn't like, it didn't feel different enough to me, which is, and I know that sounds silly because it's like, it's a colonial tavern, but it's like, but it doesn't hit the right way for me. And the silly thing about that is if you didn't take me in there, I would have never known how good the food is there. So it's like,
I get it.
So yeah, it's a weird thing, right? Like it's,
see, my wife and I, we like to explore the different restaurants. We try to go to as many different ones as we can, but we also do have like the ones that we really like going to. And I mean, listen, California Grill is it's a signature restaurant, right? So it's much nicer. It's a much fancier meal.
Yeah.
Right. But the view is pretty great up there though too. I mean, the view is really great, especially if we do it during fireworks and things like that. So I do kind of want to, I was thinking about trying to grab a reservation at Sci-Fi because I love Sci-Fi and I haven't been in a while. But I don't know. I don't even know what day we're going to go to Hollywood Studios. So I have no idea. And then I really wanted to check out the barbecue place at Toy Story Land in Hollywood Studios. I forgot that it existed, and I want to check it out. But I don't know if I'm going to be able to fit it in anywhere. So
so that goes back to the same problem I was talking about too, where like the barbecue place is interesting and looks interesting, but on the flip side of it is, once I find somewhere and I'm comfortable with it, like Hollywood Studios, I'm like, well, I'm eating at prime time.
Well, yeah,
because prime time's good, but to your point, it's like, hey, there is Sci-Fi Diner, there is Woody's, there is there are a bunch of places now in Hollywood Studios that it's like I should really like I want to enjoy the thing that I know I will enjoy, but I should also go and try something new because I might enjoy that as well. And it's a hard thing to wrestle with.
Yeah, I get it. I totally understand.
Yeah.
Anyway, so let's actually get into some news, because we got some fairly big news that I'm pretty surprised by. I'm not going to lie.
I mean, this is big. I don't know how much we get to really talk about it, but so we have some more information on Lakeshore Lodge.
Yeah.
And they released the this is the license application, I guess is the
I guess somebody got the filing that they have to file for a timeshare, and and so we got some more information from that.
Yeah. So the details on that. So I'm going to throw out a couple of numbers here, first of all. So the filing has 45,552 timeshare weeks. With a 52-week calendar, that translates to 876 Disney Vacation Club villas, which is basically the entire resort.
Yeah, this is going to be a DVC only resort. We were speculating 60/40, but this would make it the second largest DVC resort
next to Saratoga, right?
Next to Saratoga, yeah.
And not too far behind either, because Saratoga it's 888 units and 60 villas. So like this is the scale of this. The interesting thing about this actually is that if this entire thing is DVC, it's way better than Saratoga, only because, or I guess
location.
Sorry,
and newness.
I will say this. This is my perspective on it. People who stay at Saratoga, I am not hating on this. Saratoga is very spread out.
Yes,
whereas this resort is very condensed, like everything. It's one large building with a ton of rooms, and everything is very close. Whereas Saratoga, I feel it's a plus and a minus. Some people enjoy that. Saratoga is everything. The
kind
villas
quiet.
are it's quieter. Everything is spread out. It's further away from everything as well too. So
it's kind of no man's land, right? Yeah. Like you're in between like Epcot and like
Disney Springs.
Yeah, like you're in that general area, which is not. I mean, you're talking. This is prime real estate where Lakeshore Lodge is, obviously, because you're a boat ride away from Magic Kingdom. So
yeah. Now, having it entirely DVC, like you said, we were surprised because we figured a new resort like this, they would want to have some cash rental spaces. But I wonder if
they're still going to have some, because every DVC resort does have some cash rooms, right? So
but
they do have some,
But I feel like maybe the logic is they understand that DVC owners will be vying for location and this type of resort and everything. And obviously Disney feels confident that they can fill a resort like this with just DVC members.
Yeah.
The other side of it too is because it is so close to Wilderness Lodge, maybe that's a bit of the play to get people into DVC, because you would have people that would, stay at, Wilderness Lodge on cash, looking across at the, what's that resort?
That's the big, beautiful new resort.
What's the one with the lazy river? Oh, that's the DVC resort.
One. Yeah.
Okay.
This article does note, by the way, that when Disney had the Parks blog post we got from April, it said 967 rooms. So there's a difference there between of about 91 rooms. Now every single DVC resort has cash rooms, right? So especially at the beginning, because before they declare the rooms, they're cash rooms until they're declared, right? So they are, it takes time for them to sell all these things. But I think Disney's looking at, it's the location, right? This is, to me, this is the location. If you look at all of the DVC resorts that are around, Magic Kingdom, obviously this one's going to be the largest by far. It's also going to be the only DVC only one, right?
Because it's the biggest exclusive resort near Magic Kingdom. Exactly.
And I mean, by far. And I mean, you could say Bay Lake, but Bay Lake and Contemporary, I'm going to just kind of consider one.
They are, because they do share resources, right?
Yeah, they do.
That's the thing, is it is Bay Lake is technically attached to contemporary.
Yeah, and I mean, but look at it this way: like all those DVC resorts around Magic Kingdom, they're all sold out. I mean, you're not seeing any for sale. I mean, the tower, I guess, I think they're still selling. I don't think the tower
is still selling, but it's
true.
Yeah, like
it's selling well enough that they feel like they could sell this.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's like I said, it is very interesting. I'm very surprised at how they
what they're doing.
How they do this. The other part, though, that we should probably touch on is it's still an unknown.
Yeah.
Is there's the Palmetto Trust, which
that thing.
Yeah, we had talked about this with the cabins, so the DVC cabins, that they are part of a trust, which the implication of that is that you no longer have an exclusive DVC resort. It's that you're buying into the trust, and all the resorts included in that trust are considered your home resort, right? So the interesting thing is this has not been clarified, and I'm honestly 50-50 on this, whether or not they'll do this or not, because I feel like this resort is big enough that they could very easily position it like a Riviera, where it just stands on its own and it's its own resort. It has its own home. It has its own, home resort advantages and everything, because I feel like if they put it into the trust, it might be a matter of, this way they can like kind of manage, the cabins and this resort as one unit or as one resort. And
actually, yeah.
And so then it actually makes the cabins a little bit more attractive to people. But then I feel like then they have to do a bunch of rules,
because you get selling very badly. So
yeah, but then like people would be trying to like buy into the cabins to be able to use at Lakeshore Lodge, right? So that would like that becomes a whole thing. So I feel like I don't feel like this is going to go into the trust. What I wouldn't be surprised happens, or I shouldn't say I wouldn't be surprised. What I think would happen, back to the point of the trust, I wouldn't be surprised if Disney uses that as a means of positioning more resorts like the cabins, where it's like maybe some of the locations where moderate resorts are, like Caribbean Beach and stuff, maybe they start adding DVC there, but those are like the value resort DVC places that you stay, where it's like they're not fully equipped the same way that like Lakeshore Lodge.
You could almost see them doing like where you could like own in like a category, right?
Yeah.
Like it's like you could, instead of buying Lakeshore Lodge
tiered to DVC.
Yeah. I mean, serious. Like you could have it where it's like, okay, you can buy, instead of buying Lakeshore Lodge, you're buying a Magic Kingdom area resort. Right. Like, and you can book at any of the Magic Kingdom area resorts because you own at all of those resorts technically under the trust. Like, I don't necessarily think they're going to do that. I'm just saying like that would be an interesting idea. I almost think they are going to do the trust for this, Trevor, only because Lakeshore Lodge is so close to the cabins. I mean, they basically are next. I mean, they're next to each other. They are, share pretty much the same land. So that's why it would almost make sense to me, because they're so close to each other,
Yeah, and like I said, that's where it becomes like advantageous, where they can basically like leverage resorts or resources from both of those areas that are, they're under one unit. And then, but like I said, then it becomes, or I wouldn't be surprised if it did come to that all of a sudden the cabins sell out, because like the cabins they're not a great value on their own. But I think if they were incentivized with Lakeshore Lodge, that might turn people towards it.
Maybe.
Like I feel there is still a use case for the cabins, but this would just up the ante a little bit more, right? So
it's interesting. I'm surprised by it, honestly.
Yeah, I'm curious how Disney's going to play this, but then the other side about that too is if they did add Lakeshore Lodge into the trust, it actually it limits their ability to add other resorts into the trust later, because the problem I see with adding it into the trust is that Lakeshore Lodge is right now competing with places like Beach Club, like in terms of amenities, right? Like
around the pool and all that. Yeah,
like the pool and the lazy river, like it is a big selling feature. Pools are a big selling feature of the resorts, and Lakeshore Lodge is going to be up there, and if it's part of the trust, it is a great way to attract people to the trust. But then the downside of that is that you'll have people buying into the trust, and Lakeshore Lodge would effectively have the same problem that Grand Californian has, where it's impossible to get a room there if you're not in the trust. And also like back to our earlier talk about like lightning lane bookings, is your DVC resort booking is like you're having to book, on the 11th month, the day it opens, because there's no chance you're getting it otherwise. Like that's the problem of the trust, is that it could scale out that, it gives people, unless everything else going into the trust is as equally attractive, because like there will be new resorts, but I don't know that they'll build another resort like this for a while. And if they're rolling these as resorts together, and it's very clearly like the amenities in this resort are better than everything else, that resort's going to become impossible to book, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I mean, as it is, it's going to be like, for anybody who doesn't have it as their home resort, we're going to be fighting for it at the 7 month anyway.
Yeah.
So
I get a feeling this is going to be very. I mean, listen, my wife said to me, she's like, we're staying there next time we go. I'm like, yeah, well, if it's open, then yeah, we're going to stay there next time we go. I mean, we love the Wilderness Lodge vibe, and this has got that same kind of thing, but it's even like a little more upscale, and it's bigger, and it's going to be. I mean, I don't know. I think it's going to be popular. It's real estate, right? I mean, it's right, a boat ride away from Magic Kingdom. You can't beat that, besides the monorail ride away. So
Wilderness Lodge 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Exactly right. Okay, well, I think that's something. Right, but obviously,
like you said, it's a very interesting thing. Like the choice on this is not. You and I, we thought that this was going to go the other way. I'm kind of glad that it is going this way, because it does also, it does actually make it easier as DVC owners, because it is such a large resort that, I know we talked about like, I was kind of talking about from like a future state of like, if it's in high enough demand, it'll be impossible to book there, but it is a very large resort. I don't know that, I don't know that it'll ever, like, Saratoga is never fully booked, right? Like, it's rare that it's fully booked. Like, this is on the same size as Saratoga. Like, I think it's going to be hard for them to fill it up. But then there's also the discussion of getting the room type that you want, and that'll be another discussion. But yeah,
it's interesting though. We thought it was going to be 60-40. We couldn't have been more wrong. So it's just, which is fine.
I will happily be wrong. I am more than happy to be corrected with accurate information.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So in some other news here, there's not a ton of news this week, but we're gonna talk through it. But we're getting some more details about what I guess we're confirming now that the Monsters Inc. land at Hollywood Studios is going to be called Monstropolis, which I think we all expected, but they hadn't actually announced. But I feel like it's pretty clear that it is at this point, right?
Yeah.
I mean, right? Yeah.
So I didn't know what else it was going to be.
Yeah,
called.
What else are you going to call it, right? But anyway, they've released this newspaper thing from the Monstropolis Horn newspaper.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I feel like it's kind of they're offering some hints here at what's going to be in this land, right?
Yeah, I mean it's like the concept art is this is giving me Cars Land vibes.
Yeah,
I will say, like it is very clearly right out of the movie, and we knew that. Like I wouldn't, or if Disney didn't do Monstropolis how it's done in the movie, like that would have been insane.
But we have this thing now. They're calling this Human Day, but human is an acronym which stands for Humans Understand Monsters Are Nice.
Yeah,
and so the storyline is kind of fun.
Yeah, the implication of this is that they're trying to make it sound like humans are being invited into Monstropolis, and they're trying to dispel the myth around humans being dangerous.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the whole idea. But good.
Or no, continue. I mean,
what I was going to say is the top of the of the newspaper, though, says local restaurants comment on new menu development. So, listen, obviously there's going to be restaurants in the park. Now, that doesn't really tell us anything, but it does say a Glob Theater show begins rehearsals ahead of Human Day. So I feel like that gives us a little maybe hint of what the show might end up being. I don't know. Maybe it's something about the Human Day thing. But the other thing is they have this whole thing called the Department of Human Relations. I don't know if you saw this too. It's kind of funny. The logo is a human hand shaking a monster hand. That kind of looks like Sully's hand, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But
green Sully's hand. Yeah.
Yes, green Sully's hand. But this is kind of like they're giving us now like the backstory of this, because even though Monsters Inc. itself already has a backstory, obviously, and Monstropolis has a backstory, they like you kind of said, they had to come up with a reason why humans are walking around Monstropolis, right? Like that's what
an in universe, like
exactly.
Something to justify to the the residents of Monstropolis to otherwise it like I see why they had to do something like this, because if you were basing it in like the lore of the movie, it's like people could be like, why aren't you scared of me? Like it saves like some silly conversations, right? That like I don't know.
So every day is, I guess, Human Day at Monstropolis when you go there, right?
The same way that it's always Friendship Day at Crystal Palace.
Exactly.
I mean, I love Friendship Day.
Every day's Friendship Day.
I'm excited to celebrate Friendship Day.
Yeah, and so they're describing this part celebration, part cultural exchange. The event is designed to introduce humans to life inside Monstropolis while helping monsters discover that humans are not so frightening after all. Human guests will have the chance to explore the city, meet its citizens, taste unique cuisine, and step into the everyday world of monsters in a totally new way. I am fully expecting, Trevor, the restaurant or restaurants in this land to have kind of what you've been asking for, which is food that looks really gross but tastes really good. That whole thing, because that's. I mean, how else do you do that here? You have to do that.
I mean,
right?
we do know one of the restaurants because they do mention it. It's Harryhausen's is confirmed. Yeah, and we talked about there better be Harryhausen's. It is there. In the movie, it's a sushi restaurant, right? I would assume there's sushi somewhere on the menu, but I like to your point is I would assume that there would be a lot more like monster centric cuisines, right? That those brain breaking ones where it's like, this doesn't look like it should be good, but it's really delicious. Even I will say in the concept art picture that we have here, those ice cream cones that girl is walking around with, looking like she just like pulled them out of a bank. Like, she's got this smug look on her face. Like, look what I got. I mean, I'm jealous of those ice cream cones, and I will be amazed if they're that big.
Can we talk about the guy to the right though?
With the carrying the baby monster.
I just noticed this now. He's got like one of those like baby carrier.
Yeah,
the baby carrier things, but inside it is, instead of a baby, is a monster. And it's a regular dude. Thing. Yeah,
like the same way that they had like the backpacks for the droids. This better be a thing.
I mean, it has to be, right?
Yeah.
How could it not be? So, and then they also, by the way, I'm guessing this is the logo for the land. I mean, which is, I actually really dig. It's kind of cool. This black and white like logo. It's like an outline of all the buildings.
Yeah, it's a very I feel like Monsters Inc. had like a weird like almost a 1950s vibe to it, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know what to.
It's almost like The Incredibles had like that like 70s kind of like design thing, but it was like modern day. Yeah,
exactly. Like how Incredibles had like the like 60s 70s vibe to it. Yeah, like, Monsters Inc. feels like it's like a 50s vibe, but this is very very much giving it. Yeah, and even with the black and white with the the negative, using the negative outline, it's very cool, and it shows off a lot without having to do a lot, which is very smart.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm hopeful this land's going to have just like monsters walking around like we're seeing in the concept art that Sully's just kind of wandering. I would hope that we see other monsters walking around. I don't know. I guess we're going to see.
It's not on the rundown, but I don't know if you've seen, we talked about the animation courtyard opening up, right? that they've been doing stuff like at certain points during the day, the characters are just out like playing and interacting with kids and stuff like that. I'm hoping that that's like a template for similar things happening in Monstropolis.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's not Monstropolis unless you have random monsters wandering around, right? Like
Totally.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it, right? And I'm hopeful they're going to use some of that new technology, like what they use for building that Olaf, robot, and some of the obviously to have a big Sully just kind of walking around, and I'm sure there's all sorts of other monsters that they're going to come up with too, right? But I mean,
there's characters from like Monsters U and stuff that I like. There is actually a lot of potential for expanded universe characters to just
100%.
be in there and like
just wandering randomly.
I appreciate like I like I like Sully. He's a great character, and Mike as well. Like even though he gets forgotten all the time, or covered up. But I would love to see more characters, right? Like there is so much potential, and the funny thing too is that it really does offer them freedom that they could do like random characters that they could introduce them in the parks and then like work them into the shows and stuff where
absolutely
so it's like I'm excited for this.
I'll
too. Admit, like I'm really excited for this. And then also, they did tease a little bit more of the roller coaster, like the launch area and stuff, which, I mean, I me, I love a good roller coaster. And
this is a pretty interesting one too. It's very different. So,
I mean, I feel it's going to be up there with Guardians. I hope it's going to be up there with Guardians. It better be up there with Guardians. Because like they set the bar pretty high. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, why don't we go ahead and do our ad? And I didn't expect us to take 40 minutes on these two things, but that's okay. We're cool.
No, we also talked about your trip at the beginning.
Oh, that's true. We did. You know what? You're right. You're right about
Yeah.
that. I didn't think about that. So
we don't actually block time for like
we don't
talking about that kind of stuff. We should probably do that.
I guess. Well, I guesstimate in my head what we're going to talk about for certain amounts of time, and sometimes I'm right, sometimes I'm wrong.
Yeah, but we also love our rabbit holes. But in the meantime, we should do our ad. This week, our episode is brought to you by DVC Rental Store, which is a keyholder vacation company that offers magical vacations at incredible value. Save up to 60% off retail rates at premium Disney resorts. DVC Rental Store now includes deposits as low as 25% at the time of booking and a built-in cancellation policy for every reservation. And as always, DVC Rental Store pays out the most to members looking to rent their points. Want to learn more? Go to dvcrentalstore.com/welcome home or call 1-855-DVC-RENT. That's 382-7368. And when you speak to them, be sure to let them know that Welcome Home sent you.
I have to say, this is not a shill for a sponsor, but I just used them recently, and I rented out some points that I knew I wasn't going to use, and process could not have been simpler, and I got my money very quickly, and it was great. So
I do need to talk to them about Helios is looking more and more like a possibility for our trip next year. Which is the resort inside of Epic Universe. So I'm probably gonna get a point swap going, which we'll definitely talk about when I get to that point. But yeah, again, not to show for our sponsor, but we do actually like our sponsor. So
we do, and they're going to be here next week actually too. So
yes.
we're gonna have Carrie.
It's from DVC Resale Market, correct?
Yeah.
Yes. So Hey, a little bit of a spoiler for y'all.
Oh yeah. Well, listen, just a teaser. That's the plan anyway. Listen, sometimes things change, schedules don't work out, but we are planning to have them on next week. It's been a little while since we had them on. So,
and I obviously based on the start of this episode, we have things to talk about. So,
yeah, clearly, yeah, I will be interested their Lakeshore Lodge opinions. And Carrie's and anybody else that joins us, because I think there's a lot to talk about there. So.
For sure.
Yeah. So anyway, what were we going to talk about? Where were we?
In the meantime, we're going to change gears and go over to Halloween at Disneyland.
Yeah, I know I usually leave Disneyland for the end, but
we have other stuff to talk about after this too. But they have the or they always do this. They put out the Halloween stuff early because obviously we talk about people planning ahead, and
well,
on
Halloween
make the joke
Disney's 2 months from now, so
yeah, and I mean we make the joke about Halloween starting August 10th, or Halloween season is starting August 10th.
I think it's the 7th actually, because it's happening while.
Or no, this is Disneyland.
Oh, Disneyland. Sorry. I thought you were just
sorry.
Okay. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah.
Yes.
Actually, sorry. Wait. I'm incorrect too. Why do they have two different? Hold on. Okay. I was reading. I saw it starting August 10th, but that's actually when they start World of Color. For
Paint the Night Parade and Wondrous Journeys.
Okay. This is
August
weird.
10th.
So they're starting.
Yeah. Paint the Night and Wondrous Journeys will be going a limited time. These are limited from August 10th to the 20th. Yeah.
Okay. So they're doing like limited time World of Color and Paint the Night from August 10th to 20th, but then August 21st is actually when Halloween time starts at Disneyland Resort.
I'm guessing that's just them giving themselves time to do a transition by utilizing existing things, right?
Yeah, which is smart. And I will give them credit that they're at least waiting till the back half of August to start the Halloween stuff.
Yeah.
So there's all the usual stuff you would expect. Sorry, I'm just scrolling through this. I'm looking for the part that's going to make me upset, because
there's a part that's going to make you upset.
Where is it?
The Nightmare Before Christmas stuff.
Yes, yeah. You know me. That's my sticking point.
I know.
Stop with the Nightmare Before Christmas.
There are people that like it.
I know. Well, I mean that's fine, but okay, here it is. No, wait. This is something different.
My daughter likes it for some reason. And she's never seen it. I don't know how she knows it. When I say for some reason, it's because I don't know where she saw it.
Right. So okay, I just I was scrolling, and okay, we're gonna jump around a bit because
that's fine.
I mean, none of this is like. Or there's a lot of returning things, like there's like the villains like Ernesto de la Cruz and stuff like that. But there is a new street party, which maybe this is them trying to placate those of us that are mad about Haunted Mansion not being Haunted Mansion for half the year. There's a new street party called Madame Leota's Swinging Wake, a Haunted Mansion street party. And the concept art has like the stretching room photos. There's the dancers. It looks like there's a lot going on in this. Like and thinking about like how some of the other street parties play out, there's what's it called? Encanto. I kept wanting to say Coco, but I was like, Encanto is the show. Like they do a whole street party for that. This looks on the same level, but is obviously Haunted Mansion themed. And I find it funny that they're having to do a Haunted Mansion street party because Haunted Mansion is not Haunted Mansion.
It's not Haunted Mansion, yeah.
But I mean, it's something. Just for a little bit of detail, it says the new street party will feature multiple show-stopping moments for Madame Leota and to host her spirited seance and swing wake filled with happy haunts, ghostly dancing, ghostly lights, inviting you to partake in a ghastly good time that beckons all 999 ghosts. So
the concept art looks cool, but it kind of looks like when I first saw it, I thought it was a parade.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I was like, is this just like another? I mean, like Boo to You kind of thing.
Yeah,
but it looks like it's. I mean, during the street parties, they do use floats, but it's like the floats kind of come out and stop, and they do the party, and then the floats go away. So,
because they're not doing the normal parade this year because the Frightfully Fun parade is not happening this year because of construction.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
this is like the replacement for that essentially.
But maybe it'll. I guess if it's well received, it might become a more permanent thing. Hopefully,
look, this looks cool. I mean, I love anything Haunted Mansion themed. So,
I mean, an entire show dedicated to it, I'm not at all mad about it. And also, to point out, this is not happening in Disneyland. This is happening in California Adventure.
Yeah.
I just noticed in the background, it's what's the name of the restaurant? It's Carthay Circle. That's what it's called.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. There you go. You got it now. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Right.
Yeah, no, I listen. This it looks very cool. I don't I would definitely check this out. Although I'm not really into like the whole street party thing. It's not really my thing. But Haunted Mansion theme, yeah, sure, I'm in. It looks like too they've got like some ghosts. They've got like they've like puppet ghosts going on there too.
Yeah,
I just noticed that on the sides, which was interesting.
Yeah, that makes sense with how street parties play out. Like I feel like street parties are a very unique thing to specifically California Adventure. Like there is a lot more of them there than I feel there is in the other parks, or there has been a lot more over time. So the stuff that they bring out, like it's usually I want to say it kind of reminds me almost of like Carnival or something like that. Like it's very like more over the top than you would expect. Like it's not just the floats. Like there is going to be, I'm assuming there's a lot that's going to be going on in these. So
it kind of makes me laugh in the concept art that they have the person who's puppeteering the ghost there. Because I feel like usually in concept art they would just have the ghost, right? Like they wouldn't like show that there's a person holding up the ghost.
I feel you're right, but I also feel I'm glad that they're actually doing that, because it does better illustrate what to expect.
Yeah.
Whereas if it's just like if they were just floating ghosts, then they're just like, oh, it's just somebody doing concept art, and then it becomes a thing where when it actually does happen, it's like, oh, they're doing, they've got them on sticks, and it like
it's not as cool as it could have been or something.
Yeah, it kind of sets up for like disappointment, right? Whereas this is more accurate to us. The one thing that's puzzling me is the there's the one I don't know, that's not the ghost, or it's supposed to be like one of the like a cast member, like dressed in the Undertaker uniform.
Oh yeah.
Just standing there holding a candelabra, which like it just like everyone else is like moving, and he's just like
I'm a candelabra
standing there. Watch me hold the candles. Like
I'm a candelabra. Yeah, it's kind of funny actually.
Yeah, it's so funny. Like compare like, because you can see like through the rest, like there's the dancers. It looks like they're going to bring the gravediggers to this as well.
I noticed that.
Which is a cool thing from Boo to You that I would love to see that translate over. But then the butler guy standing there is like
just holding it. Yeah, that's pretty funny. I didn't notice him, but that's great. Yeah, I hope they do like the sparks and everything too, like do the whole thing. So that would be
wondering I don't guarantee that I can do this, but I'll have a look at this later and see if I can turn into an emoji on Discord for like a blank stare or something. Like I feel like that it's like such a funny like blank stare.
It's emote. Like the Kermit ornament that we have in there as a reaction. Yeah.
That one's like more like surprised. This one's just like, it's such a blank stare.
I see the Kermit one as being like a bad joke, like like it's almost Fozzie. It's like Fozzie told a bad joke and he's just kind of looking at him like, what? Or just told a bad joke.
This is giving me more like, are you serious? Kind of like he's just kind of looking like, I'm not impressed with whatever you're doing.
Yeah, he's almost doing like he's doing what the good cast members of the Haunted Mansion do,
Yeah,
the ones that are in on the bit,
Yeah, it's supposed to be creepy, and I appreciate that that's what they're trying to illustrate, but it just looks really out of place in the middle of everything else that's going on. Like,
It does. But I mean, look, this looks good. I mean, it looks mostly returning stuff, right? And if you got to cancel one thing, this is a good thing to replace it with, right?
Yeah. I just realized something too. The more that I'm looking at this, the stretching portrait ghosts or the people that are in the stretching portraits, they're popped out from the frames.
Yeah, I think they're real people. Like they're dressing people up like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if they're going to be actual like performers. Which again, that's another cool level of like adding to like Haunted Mansion and all that, right?
I assume that these are going to be live performers. It's kind of hard to tell from the photo because it almost just looks like they're just 3D and not necessarily people, but the real people in the photo kind of look like that too. So, and it is just concept art. So,
I'm that was the highlight, I guess, for me of the fall celebration stuff. That's like entirely everything that we talked about, but nothing else. Like it's all like kind of just the high level, like Halloween's coming up, and plan accordingly.
Yeah.
So all right, you have a couple of things on here now. So we're getting into. Do you need to play something before we talk about this next thing?
I don't think we need to. There's a little bit of reckless speculation here, but this is more
yeah.
I mean, do you really want me to? Is that
no? I was just curious if you had it queued up, is all. But I
always have it queued up. I got a soundboard here, I'm ready to go at all times. So
we're going to be talking about a patent that.
I don't think we can. Yeah, no, I think we're good. So Disney patented, and this was they submitted this in 2024, but it just got published a couple days ago here. And basically, it's a projection system. That it's a pop-up projection surface that can appear, change shape, show effects, and then vanish. So, which I could. Here's the thing. This is why we can recklessly speculate on what they're going to use this for. They might not use it for anything, but I could think of a million things they could use this for.
I wish I had thought of this. I will just say this now. So
let me just. Do you want me to explain? Okay, so it's a projection screen. It's made with flexible fabric stretched over rings, and then motors can pull the fabric into shapes like a cone, a funnel, or a pyramid shape. Once the effect is done, the fabric can fold flat and disappear. And then it says projectors illuminate the surface from the outside with internal lighting elements providing effects like strobe lights or shadows. The projection surface can be synchronized to a pre-programmed show sequence, be interactive with guests. Using cameras, microphones, or RFID readers like a Magic Band, as well as location-based, so it can be a view from multiple angles. The patent lists several scenarios where the technology could be used. A fountain or mountain rising, a tornado forming and dropping to the ground, a tree limb or plant growing, a character's arm reaching out from within the surface. I feel like they could use all these things in Just Cars Land and Villains Land.
I mean, okay. The first one, as soon as you said a fountain or mountain rising,
yes.
What mountain do we know wakes up in Fantasia as Chernobog?
Can you imagine that kind of scale like that?
Like watching Chernobog rise up as an effect like that? Yes,
pretty
please.
Cool. Really cool.
Yeah.
That would be really cool.
The interesting thing is, they talk about using the cone, having it stretch out and, go into a certain shape. The one thing that, they're talking about the diagrams show this cone shape. There's nothing saying that other things couldn't be attached to it. I guess that's part of this is, this is a very interesting use case of, I'll cite the worst version of this that I can imagine, which, they've already fixed, is in Frozen Ever After when they had the rear projection faces on on an Elsa, that it just didn't look right. But it was that combination of projection technology with animatronics, right?
Yeah.
This feels like the same thing where it's like, you don't have to have the screen that's being projected onto doesn't have to be, out in space the whole time. They can, reveal it through this technology. So yeah, like the mountain rising up and then, having like Chernobog come out of the middle or something, but then that combination of an animatronic with, that lends itself to the effects of the ghosts swirling around the mountains and stuff like that. Or, like they said, even, I'm also thinking too of, Mickey's Runaway Railway,
the tornado, right? Yeah.
Stuff like that. Or how at the beginning, when the screen, when it explodes, right? Having, being able to have things come out of the screen and still continue the projection is a very interesting idea. I think about that could be a next level thing of it's not just we're thinking about new attractions, but this also opens them up to possibly plussing existing attractions with more impressive effects, right? So
absolutely. Like, can you imagine they said a character's arm reaching up from a surface? Can you imagine you're on that roller coaster that's supposedly coming to Villain's Land, and a giant Chernobog arm comes at you as you're there, like it just appears out of nowhere, like like something like that, right? I mean, there's so many cool things they could do with this Monstropolis, and they could do it. They could use it for the Encanto Land. I mean, Indiana Jones, like this is like a really, like, this is one of those ones that I see them using somewhere in one of these new projects multiple times. It seems very simple, and if it's a convincing effect, then Disney pretty much. I don't want to say that they invented projection mapping, but they certainly made it mainstream.
They've refined it.
Yeah, and they know how to do this at this point, right? So like they are very, very good at this, and so if they can make certain shapes and then make them disappear, like especially with these upcoming lands, I mean, it should be really cool if they can do it.
Yeah, and they even, like they said, it's that next level of interactivity where it's like, I think about. The Yeti is a good example of, they built a massive structure that is supposed to have a certain level of interaction to it. The problem was, though, because of just the sheer weight of it and, what it was.
And the power of it.
Yeah, it wasn't able to sustain itself. But the interesting thing about this is because, they're hollow structures, but they're able to effectively map and make them look like, that they're solid or that it's, something bigger than it is. This opens up more effects like that too. Like I don't want to say replace the Yeti with like a projection mapped cone, but but on that level though, new, like you said, new stuff coming out, or I'm sure this will give them opportunities to go back and review existing effects that they could take something that was previously a solid structure, and if it's done correctly, like like I said, the worst case scenario is if they don't do the projection mapping properly, it does look jarring. Like, the Anna and Elsa faces were like very jarring to look at. But if they do this properly, it just blends into everything else, and it becomes one of those, there's certain effects that we see that it's like, how did they do that? Right. Like or like it gives that initial like wow factor. Like I'm thinking about, it's not the same effect, but like the Guardians queue. When they teleport you, right? It's like, how did they do that, right? Like
the one that still gets me is Belle's Enchanted Tales. I'm sure you haven't been to that. But
I've seen the videos. I know what you're talking about.
The mirror turning into a door. I have watched it closely every time I've ever been there, and for the life of me cannot figure out how they do it. Yeah. And some of the other effects, you can look at it and you can, maybe kind of figure out how it works, for the most part. And that one, I just like stare at it. And I'm like, my brain is not computing how this is working. And I'm sure I could watch a YouTube video about how it works, but I kind of don't want to know, I kind of enjoy the fact that it still kind of is a mystery to me. Like, I think I can figure out how they blow up the screen and Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. Right? Like that one doesn't feel that difficult, but still cool. Right. But like, I should have done spoiler alerts for that. I'm sorry. I should have done that in case you haven't done it before.
Very funny.
I was ready. I was ready with it. I don't have the full spoiler alert sound, just the chime for now. But oh my gosh. Yeah. I don't want to say it's if you haven't been on this ride yet, I'm sorry. I apologize.
I mean, it's been out long enough. And it's honestly like that's not the main selling point of the ride. Anyway, there's lots of other things that happen in the ride.
That's true. I will say that like I was thinking to myself like all the different ways they could use this, right? And one of them was like on the Monstropolis, on the roller coaster that they're going to have, like Randall like just disappearing in front of you. How cool would that be? Like if there was like a Randall thing and it just disappears in front of you, because that's what he does. He kind of disappears,
There is lots of ways that they can do a disappearing effect, but having like, this is like, having something mapped, but then, you're going like, oh, I can see like, that's projection mapped, but then having the thing that was projection mapped disappear is like, wait, like, and actually another good example of that too is, if you haven't watched it, if you watch the videos of Mystic Manor,
Of course.
The idol disappearing in Mystic Manor is like, it's, again, these are all like in that same level of like, you watch it and you're like, no, like that should not
work
the way that it's working, right? Like it's very impressive. And yeah, like you said, this patent opens up, I'll be on the lookout for stuff like this, but knowing Disney, they'll do it in such a way that, it won't be like just like a white cone, like here's the projection mapping, just wait, it'll be amazing. Like it like they'll figure out how to blend the stuff into whatever else they're doing, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, I would agree with that.
It's very cool though. Like in thinking about it, it's like, of course, using a projector and a hollow structure, it is cost effective. It is the smart way to do this stuff because they can build bigger without incurring costs due to, weight and all that kind of stuff. But you said, it feels simple, but it's how they're going to use it, right? Like it's how they use it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's how they use it.
Yeah. It's simple, but it's not that simple.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I love it. I love stuff like
too.
that. Yeah.
I love it too.
All right. Okay.
Let's talk about this last thing.
Okay. All right. We're on to the last thing. So
I'm annoyed.
let's get this on the bingo card for things that we didn't think we were going to talk about today.
All right. So do you want me to do it? Or do you want me to do it?
Okay, I'm just gonna say the title of the movie and let it sit for a minute. So, Inspector Gadget. Think about that for a minute.
Yeah.
So they're doing another reboot of Inspector Gadget.
Because why not?
Yeah. So apparently, and the reason that this is relevant is that it is Walt Disney Studios that is doing it, which, I mean, I don't know where along the way they acquired Inspector Gadget as an IP, but they did.
They own the film rights to it. They don't own the rest of it, just the film rights.
Oh, okay,
I forgot that they were the ones that did the 2 live action movies with Matthew Broderick and French Stewart. I forgot that they were the ones that did it because they weren't particularly good movies. So I
wasn't paying that heavy attention to them back then. But
well, this is actually relevant to you too because Inspector Gadget is a Canadian product too. So
I know it is. Yeah. It was on TV every day for a long
for
time
me too.
because but I feel like they played it more up here because we had we do have a requirement on TV for like so much Canadian content, and it was an easy. It was the filler show between the stuff that we wanted to watch. Like, I've watched the entirety of Inspector Gadget multiple times, not by choice.
But I love that. I loved Inspector Gadget when I was a kid.
Yeah, but I will say I don't hate it, but it was like. It was on so much that like it's too much. Like it was like, okay, like, yes, I know I've seen that, yes, Dr. Claw is, taking over a laundromat or something. Like it was like,
well, yeah,
it got to be too much was the problem. Like, and you're right. I still watched it. It's just when I think back on it, it wasn't that I was watching it because I was like, oh boy, Inspector Gadget on. It was just like, it's coming on next and I'm not getting up to go somewhere else because I want to watch the show after Inspector Gadget.
Yeah. I'm also I'm going to date myself on this though too, but when I was a kid, I used to watch reruns of Get Smart with my dad all the time, and Get Smart.
That was like the inspiration for Inspector Gadget.
And it was Don Adams who did the voice of Inspector Gadget. Was also Maxwell Smart, and Get Smart is a hilarious show if you've never seen it. I actually tried to find it on streaming recently and could not find it, which I was really disappointed about because I'm sure it's still really funny. And so every time I hear that voice, I would think of, the voice of Inspector Gadget. I'd hear, Get Smart. I think of Get Smart too. So, I don't care that they're making another one of these. I really don't. Like, make it. I have questions about the fact that is this still a relevant IP to children? Like, I don't think my daughter knows who Inspector Gadget is. I know they made a recent, like a couple, maybe 8 or 9 years ago, they made a reboot of the series, but
yeah, and it wasn't great. Because it was all like 3D animated. I watched a little bit of it because I think my son, he probably doesn't even remember it, but like I think we watched a little bit of it, and it just wasn't like it didn't hit the same way that the old one did. But part of the problem of Inspector Gadget, and I guess let's just touch on this, is that like the old show was like the main thing that made it interesting was, you know, back in the 80s, you know, Penny having a computer book where she was like hacking stuff with a computer book, and we were like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. You know, it's so scientific. And now it's like she has a phone, I guess. Like,
it was very futuristic when we were kids, for sure. I think that was part of why it was so cool, right?
Yeah, and I mean, Inspector Gadget, like, you know, he had like, and I mean that I assume that'll be like the whole premise of the film, is that you know all of the like crazy contraptions that he has at his disposal was part of what made it funny, is you know he had all these things, and then obviously it, you know, he could never like get his body to do what he wanted to, because it seemed to have a mind of its own. And like you're right, like the comedy of it was funny. It was a good show. The fact that they're doing another movie, the reason that we're talking about this is that apparently they've confirmed,
well, in talks.
No, sorry, they're in talks. It hasn't been confirmed, but the person who they're lining up to play Inspector Gadget might be Will Ferrell, which
I love Will Ferrell, I really do, but not for this.
Yeah, I feel like they almost needed to have like Will Ferrell from 10 years ago.
But even like, then, he just doesn't, like, the Matthew Broderick one wasn't very good, but at least he, like, when I looked at him, I was like, okay, Inspector Gadget. He kind of, you know, he has that kind of like tall, skinny vibe to him, that kind of, you know, like I felt like he looked like Inspector Gadget to me. I don't see Will Ferrell as Inspector Gadget. It just feels weird.
Will Ferrell, I see, like, I think it's going to be a matter of once they get him in the costume, you'll be like, oh yeah, it makes sense. Like,
you think so?
I can see it from Will Ferrell. I know what you're saying, but I guess my thing is that, you know, Will Ferrell, like, you know, everyone cites, you know, even in this article, they're citing like, you know, from Elf, and it's like, you know, the energy he brought to Elf was, you know, very, it was, you know, very high energy and all that. I don't know that he'll be able to bring that to Inspector Gadget.
Well, he's older now. I mean, you know,
exactly. And I don't want to, you know, I don't want to say that that's, you know, that like, you know, saying he's older, I don't think is honestly even like the best excuse, because like, I don't know if you saw, the Sonic the Hedgehog movies.
I haven't, but I wanted to. I just haven't.
There's a dance sequence that Jim Carrey does in it where he's Dr. Robotnik, and he plays like a younger and an older Dr. Robotnik, and he does this dance that is like insane. Like if you look it up, the whole sequence is insane in the middle of the movie. But you know, he's like 63 doing that dancing, and it like I know like they can stunt double it, but it's like it's him. Like it's.
But it's also like what's the last good movie he made?
Well, but I mean, Jim Carrey actively chooses not to make movies. Will Ferrell,
I know. Yeah, but like, what's the last good thing that Will Ferrell made? Like, I love Will Ferrell. I really do. Some of my favorite movies are Will Ferrell vehicles, but he's at the end of his career.
He was in the Lego Movie. I don't know if he's at the end of his career. I just think it's, you know,
towards the end.
I mean, you know, there's lots of actors that have resurgences. You know, Brendan Fraser is a great example that, you know, he was gone for a long time and he's come back. I'm not saying that, you know, Will Ferrell is the wrong pick for this, but yes, you know, age is a factor in it. And also, you know, I guess it depends on if he brings the right energy. I can see, again, based on his previous characters like Anchorman and stuff like that, I can see him bringing, you know, that like get smart kind of energy that you're talking about. Like, you know, because that's what Inspector Gadget was based on, or you know, it was the same guy. But, you know, it had that particular energy to it. I can see him potentially bringing that, but I think the bigger issue is if the writing actually makes sense, and if it doesn't. The Matthew Broderick one felt very cringy to me. Like it didn't feel right. It didn't feel like a good transition of the IP to live action, and it felt very forced. Maybe Will Ferrell can do it better. Like I know what you're saying, that you know maybe he's not the right pick for it.
He's not going to do the voice though. He's not going to do the voice.
I mean, he'll just kind of do his his normal
Yeah, he
voice.
just do his normal voice. Yeah.
Because I guess like Inspector Gadget has that very nasally
yeah.
It's more like higher register than Will Ferrell has. So
yeah, and I don't remember if Matthew Broderick even tried to do that voice in that movie in
no,
that
he
live
didn't.
action.
And that was part of it too. Is that it was just like it felt like watching Ferris Bueller play Inspector Gadget because like Matthew Broderick didn't
he looks like him though. I feel like he's at least got the look. I don't know,
but I think it was more like the costume was doing a lot of the work there. I don't think it was actually Matthew Broderick because if you actually look at put a picture of Inspector Gadget, like the old animated version next to him, it's the suit that's doing the work. It's not Matthew Broderick.
Yeah, I mean, not that French Stewart was much better, but I'm just, Oh, boy. I totally forgot that Inspector Gadget was the live actions were Disney. I just completely, it just did not register in my brain.
I feel it has potential to bring it back. We've talked about this with other IPs about, things falling out of, popularity and whatnot. I mean, they have to try and bring stuff back from time to time. And, sometimes it hits and, maybe it'll, at the very least, maybe some memes will come out of it that, people will enjoy. You never know. Right.
It'll be interesting to see who they cast as Dr. Claw and Penny and all that.
Yeah.
I'm sure Alan Tudyk will be Brain somehow.
Yeah, I was gonna say I wonder if he'll be Brain, but it'll be a
I
CGI
guarantee you right now
Brain,
that Alan Tudyk will be Brain. Guaranteed.
Yeah.
There is no chance anyone else but Alan Tudyk plays Brain.
Do you know the funniest thing? If they did, if it was Alan Tudyk doing Brain, but do you remember that show, the Shaggy Dog, where the bag turns into the dog, and there was sequences in the show where the dog was supposed to fight someone off, but it was clearly somebody in a dog suit throwing a hook. That would be the funniest thing if it was there was most of it was either animal actor kind of stuff, but then Alan Tudyk doing the voice, but then if there was one scene where it was Alan Tudyk in a dog suit throwing a punch,
that would be really funny.
The funniest thing. I would greatly appreciate it if Disney did that kind of nod because that would be a nod back to those old era shows, right?
Yeah. I just who else could it be? Honestly,
I mean, I don't know. I don't know who else you cast as random animal at this point. I don't know if there's a large.
Alan Tudyk has that lane tied up. Right?
Yeah,
random animal. Alan Tudyk
locked down. Yeah. That he's the new John Ratzenberger for Disney. If you think about it, he really is. Like John did so many Pixar movies and just he just had his thing in those movies. Alan's done the same thing. So
except he usually just doesn't get to talk, except for Rogue One or whatever. He usually doesn't get to talk. He just makes sounds. So
true. Yeah. Well, no, that's not true. In Wish, his character talked as well.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Because the donkey had his own voice and everything.
That's true. Yeah. And he got to talk in Frozen, I guess, because he was the Duke of Weaselton. So okay, fine, whatever.
And he was also Duke Weaselton. And
yes.
So
that's what I said.
You just debunked your own theory on that.
You know what? It's the end of the show. It's when I start to not have my brain work. So
it was just funny. You're he never talks except here,
but
and
he
here,
also does
here.
just a lot of random animals there too. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
He also is credited as the voice of BB-8 too, and BB-8 didn't even have a voice. So it's
and the interesting thing about Brain is that Brain had a voice, but it was very it was Scooby-Doo with an accent.
Yeah,
right. His talking he would talk, but it was very but he would still say he would grumble to himself or whatever. So I can see Alan Tudyk doing Brain.
I'm just calling it now. So someone mark that down for later when it happens.
Yeah. It's that's Again, I don't even know who you would dispute would do that.
Like, who else would it be? Who else is doing it?
I mean, unless they did something crazy, like maybe if it was like it ended up being like somebody like Donald Glover or something that like just like somebody out of left field does like the voice of Brain. Like that would be funny too.
The only way Alan Tudyk doesn't do it is if he's too busy to do it. That's the only way he doesn't do it, right? If he's got a scheduling conflict.
Or if they, like I said, I could see somebody doing it that you wouldn't expect to do it. Like I can see Disney doing that. And I'm trying to think like
I was actually just looking at
like Pedro Pascal, like somebody that's like uber famous, but it's like, and he plays Brain in Inspector Gadget.
Well, to your point, right? In the live action movies, the Gadget Mobile speaks and has a voice, and the voice is D.L. Hughley. Now that's random. Like, why would it be D.L. Hughley, right? And then also in one of the animated movies, it's Jaleel White. I mean,
really?
Okay, yeah. And then Bernie Mac is one of them. Like, what? Like, but to your point, that's exactly what it is. It's like somebody that you might not actually recognize their voice, but is somebody you would know. You know,
it's clear enough, or it's a unique enough voice, but also, I didn't even clock Jaleel White.
I feel like I need to go and watch these movies and see if my daughter's interested. But those Inspector Gadget movies are so bad. I'd rather just go watch the original series.
Yeah. Even even the remake, like the remake wasn't bad. It was just it didn't hit the same way as the old ones, and it was mainly because like they updated the technology and everything, and it was like, Inspector Gadget was still doing his thing, but like all the stuff Penny was doing, she was more like a secret agent than like some kid genius, because I think that's the difference. Is like she was able to be like clearly like a kid genius in the original run, but then it was like, oh, they had to make her a bit older, and she was more like working. She was like an independent agent working for the organization that Gadget was working for, but it just didn't. It didn't fly the same way, right? Like I feel like they need to go back to that kid genius thing, and I don't know, give her, maybe she's like, doing all of her hacking on like a jailbroken iPhone 12 or something. That, something that unsuspecting that nobody thinks it's that powerful, but she's like,
yeah. I get that.
Yeah. Yeah, because kid walking around with a book was they never thought to take away the book from her, but she also had that watch too with the incredibly high powered magnet.
Yeah,
sorry, I'm recalling now like
all the gadgets. Yeah, it always was a really funny thing. So I wonder even how. I wonder if we're really dating ourselves. Like, I wonder how many people even know what we're talking about with Inspector Gadget.
I feel a lot of people do, or a lot of the parents that are listening to this show have watched Inspector Gadget at some point, or at least aware of it, because I'm a bit older than you, but we both lived through that. Like, I feel like it started in the 80s, but Inspector Gadget ran into the 90s. So
it was 83 to 87, but then it was like on constantly. So
like I said, that was the thing for me, is that it got to that point where it was just in syndication, and it was a filler show, which
basically all of the programming on early Nickelodeon came from this, what was it, DIC Entertainment, right?
Yeah.
All early Nickelodeon was produced by this group.
A lot of good Canadian shows came out of that. Also, did you ever watch You Can't Do That on Television?
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah, that was filmed in Toronto, which is kind of crazy to think about.
Wait, go ahead, sorry.
I didn't realize that. Like, I thought it was another like out of Hollywood thing. I didn't realize it was actually Canadian when I was watching it growing up.
Well, also Disney apparently used to own DIC, which I did not know. So there you go.
That makes sense.
Disney just owns so many things and owned them at some point, impossible to keep track of. So
yeah.
All right, let's wrap this up.
And I know you're trying to avoid it, but
avoid what?
It's so DIC. It's Deke is how it's pronounced.
Yes, Deke. Yes,
because that's how they at the end of the shows. At the end of the shows, they would always say Deke, and I know it sounds close to an inappropriate.
Well, and
term,
every kid would make that joke.
Yeah, and everyone's giggling about it. Enjoy, but that's what it is.
Well, this is funny. Some industry insiders referred to Deke as "do it cheap." That's what it stood for.
Dang.
I mean, listen, the shows weren't always the highest production quality. Anyway,
I don't care. Young me didn't care. It was, it was Saturday morning cartoons.
Yeah,
let me have that.
Yeah, it's all
right.
good. All right, let's wrap it up.
That was fun. I enjoyed that. I'm glad we got to
little nostalgia for you, right?
Yeah, a little bit of nostalgia, a little bit of a weird conversation, but hopefully, maybe something will come of it. That is, maybe you'll see Inspector Gadget in the parks. Wouldn't that be weird?
Oh my god! No, they only own the film rights. I don't think they own park rights.
Yeah, but well, I mean, you never know. But I mean,
true.
I would not be mad about a character meet with Inspector Gadget.
Dude, I would run to a character meet with Inspector. I loved Inspector Gadget when I was a kid. I would 100% take my picture with Inspector Gadget. But
yeah. So,
anyway, yeah,
some food for thought. But let's leave it there.
Wrap her up.
Let everybody think about that. Lots of fun stuff we talked about on this episode. So, if you have any questions about anything we talked about, you want to share your own thoughts, or, you're doing trip planning, you want to share things, you can always reach out to us at welcomehomepodcast@gmail.com, or you can check us out through the website, welcomehomepodcast.co. You can contact us through there. We love hearing from you guys and, just talk with you guys about Disney stuff. You can also find us on social media. So we are on Facebook as Welcome Home Podcast. We're on YouTube as Welcome Home Podcast. And we're on Instagram as Welcome Home Pics. Make sure if you're on Facebook, check out our group Welcome Home Disney Waitlist, where, a lot of the things that we talk about, get on there as well. It's, a great place to just connect with other people that are excited about Disney. I think we all like Disney. We all like talking about Disney, and it's nice to have a place on the internet where you can talk about Disney without all the negativity. Because there's lots of negative places to talk about it, but we try not to do that. We don't want to be. We don't want to be negative. Not to say that we don't criticize, but we don't have to be negative about it. So there's a difference there. But so we have a group for that. Also, if you want to help support the show, you can go to store.welcomehomepodcast.co and check out some of our different merch there. If there's something you'd like to see there, send us a message and we can add stuff to the store. And we also have a Patreon. So you can go to patreon.com/welcomehomepod and check out our different levels of Patreon support, which our Patreon supporters get an exclusive logo on all the merch that you can only get there. So it's not available on the store anywhere else. And our Patreon supporters also get access to the Discord server, which, as we mentioned earlier in the show, is yet another place where we have conversations about stuff from the show. It's also sometimes where you'll get little sneak peeks of stuff that we might be working on, or upcoming shows, stuff like that. So if you're interested in that, please check out our Patreon and get into the Discord and see what everyone's talking about. It's always fun to see what people are planning for trips and everything in there. So, that's part of it too. Is there's lots of people are always doing their own Disney things, and we talk about our Disney things, but everyone has their own way that they do Disney. So it's just another place to talk about it. If you're listening on iTunes or Spotify or anywhere you can leave us a review, please do leave us a review and leave us 5 stars. It just helps more people find the show, and you can let us know what you think about the show, because we'd like to hear that as well.
We do like to hear that for sure. I have a part to read. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm done my part.
Okay, you're done with your part. Now it's time for my part, which is don't forget to subscribe to Welcome Home Podcast so you can be reminded every time we release a new episode. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, TuneIn, Spotify, YouTube Music, just about any place that podcasts are available. You can find us. Huge thank you to the sponsor of this episode, DVC Rental Store, for sponsoring this episode, and also just everybody over at Keyholder Vacations for sponsoring the show and just being generally cool people to us. So join us next time for more Disney Parks discussion, and of course, more DVC talk. We hope to see you all real soon.
Albert Awol, the voice of the jungle, signing off from Welcome Home Podcast on the DVC. Do a house when we had a chair. how she can cobble these snowman's affair. I look around for the clothes, found her in her sugar bowl. Look out, here comes my